If you're thinking of getting a human resources degree, today's video is just for you. We're going to talk about what kind of jobs you can get, how much money you can make, which degrees are best for jobs in HR, and how fast can you accelerate these degrees. If this all sounds good to you, then let's dive in. Hi, I'm Ryan Swayt, and I used to be a two-time college dropout, making just $12 an hour. Then I learned how to hack college and earned an entire bachelor's degree in 9 months flat. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll show you how. All right, so human resources degrees. Let's jump over to my computer screen. I'm going to walk you through everything that you need to know if you're thinking about a career in HR. So first off, a traditional human resources degree is a business administration degree. So if you're looking for the degree, it's generally called something like human resources management, okay? And it's generally a bachelor's degree. There are master's degrees that you can get as well that specialize in HR. Something that some people like to do is they like to get their undergrad in human resources, and then they get their master's degree in something that's more management related, and the two combined together can lead to some really, really good job openings. For example, let's say you got your business administration degree in human resources management and your master's degree in healthcare management or health leadership. That could lead to getting a really cool job running a human resources department at a hospital or something like that. There are lots of different ways to go about it, but human resources in general is a very, very good career that has lots of happy people working these types of jobs. So one thing I want to talk about is what do you actually do when you're working in HR? And a brief overview, and there are more responsibilities than this, but this is kind of the core responsibilities of human resources. First would be hiring, okay? Along with hiring, you might be in charge of recruiting, okay? Goes hand in hand with that, but firing is also often the job of the human resources department. Along with firing, maybe someone does something that requires disciplinary action that doesn't require firing. That sometimes is the job of the human resources department. Payroll and benefits, determining how much money someone is going to make and pay raises and things like that. Choosing health plans for the company. This is all stuff that human resources is generally in charge of in big companies. Now, something else, and kind of another aspect of the job that's a little bit different, that's really exciting for some people, is training new employees is often the job of the HR department. If there's certain credentials or certifications that people need to get, oftentimes you'll be in charge of making sure they get certified and trained in those specific areas. Sometimes you're not doing the training yourself. Sometimes you are. Sometimes you're referring or guiding people to the right trainings. But on top of that, sometimes you're even in charge of creating, updating, and maintaining company policies, okay? You can also be in charge of keeping track of employee records and employee accountability, making sure that each department is fulfilling their responsibilities properly. These are all things that are involved with HR. Now, some companies, the HR departments are massive, and there will be a specific HR employee assigned to each specific thing. Like maybe there's an employee in charge of hiring, an employee in charge of training, and an employee in charge of payroll. Some companies are smaller, and the HR department is in charge of all of these things, and you might be doing or having multiple responsibilities. It completely depends on the company that you work for. Now, the need for HR continues to grow. There are projections that in the next 10 years, HR is going to grow by at least 5%. So what that means is that getting a job in HR, you're probably not going to be in a situation where what you got your degree for is non-existent 10 years down the road. HR is something that there's continually, for decades and decades, there's been a strong need for these types of employees. So it is a low risk job. If you're going to get a degree, it's something that you probably have credentials to get good jobs for many years to come. Now, it's also a job that it doesn't get boring because you're not always doing the same thing over and over and over again. And on top of that, you work with people a lot. So you have lots of involvement with different people, and that can keep your job entertaining and exciting as well. Now, having said that, it can be stressful at times because you're working with people, right? Let's say you're in a situation where you've got to hire for a very, very important job opening, and you're frantically and interviewing employees and things like that. That can get stressful. Or let's say there's a time where an entire department needs a whole bunch of new training. That can be stressful as well. But at the same time, it can be very, very rewarding. It's not going to be one of those jobs where you're, I don't know, let's say like an accounting job where you sit there and you go through numbers and do accounting all day sitting at your computer. There is some of that with record keeping and payroll and stuff like that, but there's also different aspects of the job that keep you on your toes. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. At times it can be stressful, but it can lead to a more exciting career. So you can weigh out the pros and cons according to your personality and your strengths. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that it is a low floor, high ceiling career. And what that means is that there are a lot of HR jobs that are low paying, kind of your base level HR jobs, ranging from, on a low end, about $50,000 a year. Now, that's the low floor of this specific career. Now, there's also a high ceiling for jobs like this. There are jobs in HR where you can make upwards of $200,000 a year. So anywhere between $50,000 and about $200,000 a year, that's a very wide range. So that's something to keep in mind, is that the very entry-level low-end jobs can be low-paying. The high-end jobs can be really high-paying. So keep that in mind as you choose which job that you're going to choose. Now, what I want to do is I want to jump over to a website. I read a really cool article. I want to take you over to it and give you an example of kind of these low floor jobs and these high ceiling jobs to hopefully give you a better idea of which jobs you should be focusing on training for as you're getting your degree, so that you can make sure you get one of the higher paying jobs. So let's switch screens here. All right, so this is an article that I found. It's actually done by Southern New Hampshire University, and there's a lot of cool stuff in here. If we scroll down, it's talking about basically what you can do with a human resources degree. Okay, and if we scroll down here, it's going to give us a list of different types of jobs and what pay ranges you can expect for each of these jobs. So, for example, a human resources specialist, okay, is going to average $63,000 plus a year. A human resources manager is expected to make over $120,000 a year. Okay, if we continue scrolling, a training and development specialist is expected to make $62,000 to $63,000 a year. A training and development manager is expected to make over $115,000 a year. A compensation, benefits, and job analysis specialist is expected to make close to $70,000 a year. And in the same department, a manager is expected to make $125,000 a year. Now, a labor relations specialist, $73,000 a year. And of course, the management positions lead to even more. So this is kind of a good variety. These specialist jobs, okay, if you're an employee that's just in charge of doing one thing, it's generally a $60,000 to $70,000, maybe $80,000 a year job. If you're a manager for that specific position, you're over $100 or even over $120,000 a year. So keep this in mind as you're searching for a job in human resources. Try to get management jobs. Now, what that might require is to get your bachelor's degree and in human resources. And then if you cannot get the position that you're trying to get, you can go and get your master's degree in a more management focused area. The two combined can lead to some of these really, really big jobs. Now, if you're thinking, well, I want the higher paying jobs, but I don't want to go to school for 6 years. Or let's say you're thinking, you know what, I like any of these jobs, but I don't want to go to school for 4 years. Now, if you've followed my channel or seen any of my other videos, you probably know that I teach people how to get college degrees in as little as 6 months. And I'm not talking associate's degrees, I'm talking bachelor's degrees. The process that I teach is called degree hacking. It works for bachelor's degrees and it also works for master's degrees. So if you're thinking, oh my goodness, like this sounds like an amazing career, but I don't want to spend 4, 6, or 8 years in college, there are ways that you can accelerate these degrees and earn these degrees literally in a matter of months instead of years. The process is simple. Instead of going through the degree path that your school has planned out for you in taking this class, then this class, then this class, and doing homework assignments and quizzes and study guides and lesson plans and writing essays and all that stuff, instead, you can basically take an exam for each class. Instead of going through the class for 4 months, if you pass an exam, you can get credit for the entire class. Now, if exams sound difficult to you, I'll be honest and say it's actually so much easier than the alternative. Essentially, what you do is you figure out what you need to study, and then you study it, and then you take the exam. It's a much simpler, easier, and less expensive process than sitting in a classroom for 4, 6, or even 8 years. If you'd like to learn the process of degree hacking, I used this process to earn my bachelor's degree in just 9 months, and my hope is that you can do it even faster. What I'm going to do is down below in the video description, I'll leave a link to a free training where I walk through the 3-step process of degree hacking. No strings attached. It's absolutely free. You can literally scroll down, look in the video description, click on the link, and go and watch it right now. If you don't know how to get to the video description, if you're on your phone, tap on the video title and it will open up the description, and on your computer, scroll down below, and it's very easy. I'll leave the link there. My hope is that this video has helped you determine if HR is going to be a good fit for you and your personality and your strengths. If you like to see videos like this, where I teach about different types of college degrees, I teach tactics that help you earn your college degrees faster, and I teach all about how to save a whole bunch of money on tuition. If these are videos that interest you, like the video and subscribe to the channel, and you'll start seeing more videos just like this. I hope you have a wonderful day. Scroll down, click the link below if you want to see that free degree hacking training. I'll talk to you soon in the next video.